okay? So I will do what I can. I know, no surprises there, certainly. But if you're having trouble hearing at all, do move closer to the front and hopefully that will be able to be passed on to you. Certainly everything I can do from my side, I will do to make that audible for you. So here we have example number 1. Now this example scored very highly indeed, okay? Both of the examples that we picked out here did. They both scored at a very similar level, but for slightly different reasons. Okay, and that's why I think maybe these are quite useful as examples. And I want to prove to you that there isn't one right track to take through this assessment. There are hundreds of different pathways that you could take that could all end up with results that you are looking for at the end of the process. Okay, so here is our example number 1. Let me just make sure I've got that right. Yeah, so it's going to get right into it. We'll start within the first second or so. You can also get a feeling for how we're going to set the room out, how I'm going to communicate with you during the assessment, so hopefully this will help to inform you a little bit in that. Right, okay, so we'll have about 7 minutes on this example now. Hopefully the sound will hold up for us. 3, 2, 1, off.
So hi, I'm Rebecca here, and today I'll be talking about web analytics, web development, analytics, and metrics. These 3 aspects are crucial to increase your audience online as well as driving revenues. According to Kingsnorth 2022, no marketing can happen until we have a destination to provide to our customers to visit. And by this, I mean you need to have a website for your company. Website, in fact, is very important to represent your digital face of your business online. As well as it must cater for your customers' needs, and it should also provide a seamless user experience for your customers. So it is very important that the website has crucial information in regards to your services. In particular, I mean, it should talk about the pricing, the opening times, the contact, as well as the location of the business. And in this, we are very specific because it's actually in London and it's right next to the train station. Moreover, according to Ryan at 2020, it's very important for our website to create some sort of community amongst their customers, as well as engagement. And we are thinking that a way to do this is to promote maybe post-yoga session meetups, where you can build a strong community amongst your customers, and these can also be promoted on the website. Moreover, we're also thinking to include some photos and positive reviews of your customers, which are transmitting to your potential future customers from sense of well-being and positive health benefits. We decided to do this strategy according to one of your bigger competitors, which is More Yoga, also located in London, which is focusing on making their website efficient and trying to build a very strong bond with their customers. So if we follow all of these tactics, we are pretty confident that your bookings will increase, and this will obviously affect your revenue. However, we also need to focus on conversions, and for this, we need to have some strategies in place. For example, we should focus on the transparency of costs as well as the streamlined checkout processes that are launched in 2020 and strategy 2019. Moreover, we need to make sure that the website is up to standard. So to check the performance, we will be utilizing tools such as Google Lighthouse and Web Page Test 2024. And in terms of managing the website, we decided to utilize a CMS, which is a content management system. We believe that this will be effective and cost efficient, and it will also be perfect for us to deliver quick content and deliver some quick updates. And we are pretty confident this will have a positive impact on our SEO, customer experience, as well as the conversion rate, challenge that in 2022. Moving on now to the metrics and analytics. So metrics and analytics are our backbone for this digital strategy. Media metrics actually have activities across media, earned media, paid and owned media. And so media metrics are actually, however, we need to keep an eye on these because according to different platforms, we will have different metrics. And for example, I think I was talking earlier about YouTube and Instagram, we need to keep in mind that they have different audience dynamics. So it's very important to keep that in mind. So in terms of the influencers and content creators that we're looking to work with, they have been chosen very carefully, and also some metrics will be analysed and monitored together with them, as this will be crucial for obviously the strategy that we're undertaking, and they will help us to draft future strategies as well. Some media metrics that we will be considering are the reach, engagement, the website, the web page, the impressions, and many more. Moving on to analytics, as I previously said, we decided to utilize WordPress because we also believe that it has a very strong analytics system included, and this will help us by providing some crucial information with regards to our customers, and it will give us the story behind the users that are accessing our website. This will have a huge impact in terms of it will give us an opportunity to optimize every interaction point that the user will have with our website to maximize the conversion rate, which in the UK is currently only 1.88. But if we work closely with this metrics and analytics, we are pretty confident that this will run. Yeah, so we thank you for this opportunity, and we are pretty confident that our agency will be able to promote your yoga franchise successfully. So thank you for listening.
Okay, wonderful. So, just before we wrap up, we need to do follow-up questions, I'm afraid. So, we'll go in the original speaker order, so we'll start here, back to across. So, may just have to fast forward this bit a little. So, where are we now? 1706.
Question me, but if I can ask, did she not speak more than 7 minutes?
No, that was only about 5 minutes there in total. It feels longer when you're up doing it, absolutely, but no, I can vouch that was only about 5 minutes. I had my timer on at the same time, and you see the alarm go off at the
Use our comprehensive privacy policy that explains a cookie on your website, and the user should have the option the user fair that.
I am going to ask you, theory, in order to improve our loyalty.
The demographic management is important than gaining new customers. The case for extending your search for new. And
right, so just press stop there. So this is the same speaker being asked their question. Once I finish typing. One final question here. Wonderful. So, just got this in the right place. Wonderful. Okay. So, sticking with GDPR, could you please tell me, with regards to email and mobile text-based marketing, what would you suggest that we need to do to make sure that we stay GDPR compliant? So, once again, with regards to email and mobile text-based marketing, what would you suggest we need to do to stay GDPR compliant? Off you go, please, in 3, 2, 1, go.
So first of all, for every digital strategy that a business has, it is important to make sure that they are GDPR compliant. This is essential. And in order to make sure that they are compliant in terms of messaging and marketing emails, they need to ensure that before they start sending emails or marketing in that sense, they need to gain consent from the customers. They can't just start sending random content. It also has to be relevant to what they have signed up for. And within the box where they normally sign up for by putting their email or phone number, they also need to have an option of choosing amongst text, emails, phone calls, whatever they prefer amongst the options. At the same time, it is important that we keep in mind that the customer needs to have an option to opt in and opt out whenever they want, and this has to be a very seamless and easy sort of process, so it has to be very clear how they can unsubscribe when and if they want. They also need to be aware What we do so with our privacy policy that Amina was explaining, they need to be aware of what we collect, what data we keep, and what do we do with them, and how are they stored to make sure that they are safe and there will be no breach or third parties will access their data. So this is also very important because that will break that sort of loyalty that we have with our customers. So yeah, I think these are the main issues.
Okay, thank you very much. Right. Sorry? It was a little bit unclear. I think off the top of my head this was the least clear of the recording, so hopefully the other ones will be a little bit more straightforward. Were we able to hear much of what this person was putting forward? Did we pick up on anything that we think they did well? Just bearing in mind this is a high scoring example.
Well, she said that the company should make sure that the customer agreed to receive the emails, and
yes,
also they have the option to sign out if they want to, but that's the only thing I could hear.
I see. I do apologise for that. Hopefully the next ones will be a little bit clearer.
She started
go ahead.
to say the uploading with the website probably I don't get secret.
The source, yeah.
The source.
Yeah,
So that's their citation according
Yes,
to, or so and so
according to,
states.
yeah.
That's all you have to do. Obviously, you're not doing this in your pitch meetings when you are very successful digital marketers in the future. However, for the purposes of this academic environment,
No.
we need to know that you're across the theory. Okay.
Some weird, but it's necessary. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed.
Did everybody have to start like that? Like they drew us or just first person and then we follow?
She was the third speaker in this case. Yeah, third speaker. So other people. I think I get what you're getting towards here. She did give kind of a brief introduction to her contribution. I don't think she went too far with this, though of course practical application is the name of the game of this assessment completely. Anything else we picked out here that we think was done well?
Yeah, the top speaker
Yeah.
did brilliantly because she wasn't looking at any book.
Yes, no reading.
Look at this. Where are the notes?
Yes.
Okay.
There was no notes. She was just speaking confidently.
Indeed. And what does that tell me? It tells me that she knows what
She knows what she's doing exactly.
I will not mark you down for bringing notes. That is not what I'm saying here at all. It's very impressive that she managed to do all that without any notes, without any prompting in front of her at all. Okay. So that was a good thing. Presentation skills wise as well.
Yeah.
She was very kind of straightforward in terms of her presentation technique. She was making lots of eye contact. She had good body language. She sat and positioned in a professional way there. Okay.
And
So-
she's confident.
and confident, yeah. I will say, when I assessed this particular student, I did think at the end of the process she must have experience in an area similar
Yeah,
to
of
this
course.
already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe she worked in a customer-facing role or something like that in the past. She's a very good communicator. Okay. Anything else we picked up on that she did well?
I don't know if I heard well, but she don't exactly when she explained the theory something like that.
Yeah.
She don't connect exactly with the brand.
Mm.
I think so. I don't know if, for example, we can do something because the brand needs something like that. They can
Yeah.
improve something more realistic,
Or
So
specific with yes.
could have tied theory and
Yeah,
more
it's too
story
mechanic for me.
justified,
For me,
yeah.
it's too mechanic. Blah 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 blah. But she don't
Yeah.
say, for example, and the company we can apply this strategy because and for example blah blah blah. And then we have one option that another option, but we like to choose this option because it's the best for the brand. Something like that. More realistic.
Yeah. I think there's a point to be made that she wasn't kind of giving a range of options there. She was
Yes.
saying, this is the path we're going to take, and on we go. Now, I would say on the other side of that, more or less everything she said was practically applicable. It was about what are these businesses going to do
Yes.
really specifically. Okay?
I know.
She recommended WordPress, was it?
Yes, as a content management system, yes indeed. So this ties into another thing that she did well, multi-channel environment. She was mentioning many different channels there, and tools, okay? She knew what tools were going to be used in relation to each of the channels that she was proposing. Anything else we think she did well? These are the main points, I would say.
I think she's done well with answering the
But we'll-
question.
Yeah, she absolutely addressed the question in a really direct, really straightforward
I would
way,
have added more, but
without much
She was
Yeah.
talking about the websites all the time. She
Indeed,
was
so
not talking
her,
much about the SEO.
So
No.
that's
web development and
Ah,
metrics.
she
Yes,
started with
yeah.
the web, okay.
now, is there anything we would improve on? We've mentioned maybe providing some options in terms of direction. That could be one way that we could go. Any other way that we can improve?
I don't know. Maybe and how many times they like to. This is the purpose of this. For example, in the first month,
Yeah.
we like to start with the design of the website, and the second
Yeah.
month with something with a Gantt chart, something like that, no?
To kind of more clearly framework the schedule of what
Yes,
you're
something-
proposing. Yeah, I think that's a
maybe,
fair
no?
comment. Absolutely. Go ahead. You're completely right.
I'm trying to. They didn't mention anything about the company. It looks like we were just listening to some generic propositions.
Yeah.
Yes,
about
this
There
is my
could be more
perception.
ties
So
to
we
the
have no
company.
overview of what they're talking about. Like if a stranger's just listening to them, they'll be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yes,
You know?
yeah. So, some of the things that you could improve on in that regard, let's say, for example, you give us a few keyword examples, something like that,
Mhm.
maybe.
but that's for the SEO, isn't it?
Well, just for the SEO, but you could potentially raise a couple of keyword
She
examples in
didn't
relation to
introduce the
content
company,
marketing.
did she?
No, so that would have been our first speaker on the left here, who probably
She
gave
didn't
more of an
introduce the
introduction.
company,
She's last
nothing.
person.
But you are completely right that you have to keep tying that contribution down. Okay? So we should have heard more from that last speaker that tied it back to the other few speakers. I would agree with that. And I believe the reason why this student didn't get absolutely top whack marks was because the discussion around analytics and metrics was maybe not as developed as it could have been. Okay, there was a bit of a stumble there. Okay, she was thinking about one particular metric and she was trying to put a finger on it, but she couldn't quite. Okay, she did mention some applicable metrics there, but some were a bit general. Okay, this was a major piece of feedback that I had for this entire class last trimester. They weren't really picking out metrics in a relevant and specific way, and I think that was also the case in this.
It's easy to give opinions here now,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
when it's
Absolutely. We need to take into account nerves and everything else, indeed.
I'm going to be
you have more clear, no? Yeah.
But this performance was a very strong performance indeed. Okay. Anything else we want to bring up with regards to this example before we look at the next example?
But
I
are
want-
we
Maybe
gonna?
I'm speaking too fast.
Yeah.
You could argue that potentially in terms of a more realistic presentation.
She didn't pause, but just access things.
Yeah, but she
It was
had
very
a short
good.
time, she
It's
had a lot
like
to
she crammed
say.
something, she crammed it.
She
Now,
has to say a lot.
for let's
Sorry?
say we'd
You have
arranged
to
a
say a lot.
meeting of an hour
Yeah,
between
she
us
has
and
a
the
lot to
content
say.
marketing company.
Whatever you're going to do.
Oh yeah, this is another point that you said that you're speaking to a director that has no idea about digital marketing, and
Indeed.
she's not kind of introducing any of this.
She was just blah, blah,
So
blah.
if
Yeah,
you're speaking like that
she
to
doesn't
somebody
look
who
into
doesn't
this
know anything
herself.
about digital marketing, do you really think they will absorb that information?
I would take that as a sacrifice of the necessary scheduling of the assessment in this case.
5 minutes, we have a lot to cover.
Exactly. Now, if this was a real client meeting, you would probably have an hour to go and discuss these things at the very least, and then
Just
you
like
are
this
100%
trimester.
right.
And
Slow
she's
down,
fine.
breathe, explain things to people, okay? That's all fine. In this particular case, because those parameters are so tight, I will accept you speaking a little bit quicker if you need to. But
she's
you're
trying
completely
to,
right.
she's trying to
Your
copy every
presentation.
answer every.
Trying to get
It's
this-
the mouse.
Because of the time.
Sorry?
I said because of the time.
Oh, we've got 2 more examples coming up. I'll just bring those up. Yeah, this was another high scorer.
Is it again web development?
I can't remember off the top of my head, I'm afraid. It's this fellow on the right who's going to be giving his contribution here.
Okay.
This person was much more
Okay.
technical in terms of their approach
So
overall.
you are dividing these videos based on their performance, individual performance,
Yes.
not the video.
Yeah, so I picked out the 2 highest scorers from this group and one of the students who could have done a little bit better. essentially. So we're not going to watch groups in full. I think this is more useful in this case. So once again, it's this fella here. I would say adopts a much more technical approach, but got a very similar result overall. So let's have a little look, and we will discuss again immediately afterwards.
If you'd like to get underway, 4 replay is in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Alessandro, and today I'm excited to present our recommendations on how the yoga franchise can strategically use SEM to enhance digital marketing strategy and overcome the revenue challenges. Let's start by analyzing the current situation using the SOSTAT model. As Shinto Iri in 2024 explained, SEM, which includes SEO and PPC advertising, is a powerful tool for improving brand visibility and attracting to a specific website traffic. However, the yoga's limited online presence mainly focused on Facebook page. It's a significant barrier to reaching out a wider audience and staying competitive in the digital space. Now let's explore why SEM is the digital marketing franchise. According to Champion Ellis Chadwick in 2022, SEM provides a structured approach to increasing brand visibility, ensuring that the franchise offerings are prominently displayed on search engine result pages. By combining SEO and PPC, the franchise can expand its online presence and attract potential customers actively searching for yoga products and services. The yoga's digital marketing strategy could greatly benefit from using SEM. This would help address the challenges possessed by the growing competition in the London's fitness and wellness scene. And according to King's Law in 2022, established competitors like Upward Yoga have successfully used SEM and SEO strategies to drive web traffic and maintain market dominance. According to Seminars Web 2024 report, the website ranks among the top 5,000 in terms of customer traffic optimization within the industry. Therefore, using SEM in the digital marketing strategy presents a significant opportunity for the yoga franchise. Additionally, it is essential to diversify the digital marketing efforts beyond relying solely on the company's Facebook page for traffic generation. Champion Ellis Chadwick in 2022 emphasized the significance of diversifying digital data, technology, and technology to expand audience reach and engagement. The SEO component of SEM ensures optimal search rankings results across search engines and communication channels, and providing a pathway to the diversification. Now let's move on to implementation suggestions. As proposed by Champion Ellis Chadwick in 2022, the integration of SEM into digital marketing framework can be achieved through 2 main avenues. SEO and PPC. SEO focuses on optimizing website content and structure to improve organic search ranking, attracting the visitors naturally. On the other hand, PPC advertising provides an opportunity to purchase placement on search engines result pages, leading to quick traffic increases, although it might come with a potentially higher cost, as cautioned by Ryan in 2020. With these insights in mind, we can outline the SMART objectives of integrating SEM into our digital marketing strategy. Firstly, we want to secure top 3 positions on search engine results pages for relevant keywords within 6 months. Secondly, we want to increase website traffic by 25% in 3 months through SEO and PPC campaigns on Facebook and Google. And thirdly, we want to implement 2 new revenue streams, for example, online yoga classes or yoga merchandise sales within 1 year and achieving profitability within 6 months. It is crucial to consider key considerations and success factors in implementing SEM, personalized communication, targeted marketing campaigns, and customer engagement initiatives, as recommended by Kingsnot in 2022, are essential in building meaningful customer relationships and enhancing brand loyalty. Additionally, compliance with data protection regulations and GDPR, as highlighted by CHEP in Alice CHEP in 2022 and 2023, is crucial for protecting customer data and ensuring transparency and accountability at the same time in data management practice. In summary, SCM is essential for the yoga franchise to update its digital marketing and drive sustainable growth. The franchise can improve visibility, attracting specific website traffic, and boost revenue. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, so 1 second.
I mean, the body language is amazing.
Did you see the legs going under the desk at the start? It's fascinating being on the other side of this. I would be exactly the same if I was on that panel, so do not worry.
Because
Yeah, for the
everyone
most
gets nervous to speech, right?
Yeah, it's very natural thing.
Every time in my presentations, I get so hot. I'm always like sweating.
Me too.
Remember I have a video of our presentation, and I'm dressed with the blazer, and the guys are presenting, and I'm walking like this.
Okay, so next speakers.
Indeed, yeah, it can get on top of us.
I think the customer
And then it all kind of snowballs because we get hot, we get bothered, we can't think straight in there. I prefer you sat down. SEO, yeah, let's just try and find this question.
You'll get your numerical.
We have about social media.
No way.
The question.
all of the web development can be if they
Right. So, one final question for you today. If you could please tell me, so you're talking about GDPR there. Could you talk to me a little bit about what we would need to do specifically with regards to email and mobile text-based marketing
Same
in order to
question.
make sure that we stay?
I don't want to give too much away.
So once again, what do we need to do in relation to email and mobile text-based marketing in order to stay GDPR compliant?
So we need to provide them like in order
Another question.
and also there is a timeline that company.
Very much appreciated. So you'll get further information from us in about 6 weeks' time. You'll get your numerical marks as well as your
About them. We need to hit and regulation.
Try for one more second.
Better strategy, return on investment, and all of the gonna allow us to.
Okay, let's not worry about the question in this case. So, for the main contribution, what do we think? What went well about this?
It was technical.
This
Very
year,
technical.
Yeah.
It's
bolded.
Lots of citations, but
Loads of citations.
Too much, yeah.
Was he talking about SEO?
Yes.
Well,
I don't
this is a
think
really
so.
important point.
He talks a little about the SEO, but he didn't dig to what the really SEO is supposed to be, right?
Yes.
So, did
How are you going to
we...
implement the SEO?
This group did the other thing. Okay, so remember we talked about previously, we have 3 topics. You can either cover 1 topic per person, or you could do SOSTAC. This person did SOSTAC. Okay? So what they started with was their situational analysis of everything, and then they went on to their objectives relating to everything. Now, each of the other speakers put some meat on the bones of those things, went through strategy, tactics, actions and control afterwards. So this is why it was maybe a little bit more general from this particular speaker, because they were focusing on complete situational analysis and complete objectives there. So this is what I meant by that slight difference of approach that you could adopt there. As you can see, 2 high scorers adopting completely different approaches, so each approach is viable. Anything else that we spotted there?
No eye contact.
So let's flip over to the downsides quickly before we go back. The two main problems here in terms of this particular speaker, firstly, I wasn't sat over here, okay, and this person is constantly looking over here.
Why?
Nerves. This is what we all do when we're nervous. We avoid eye
Because when we
contact.
memorize, I know why.
his
Because
body
I do the
language.
same sometimes.
When
you memorize, and then you just need to deliver it, so you are just thinking what about you memorize, and you're nervous, so you need to speak. So sometimes you don't look to the person because you not get focus and concentrate. So sometimes you look to the right.
Exactly. When I first started teaching, I got a piece of advice that if you are maybe nervous or something like that, you can teach to a spot in the middle of the wall at the back of the room. Okay. And while I was nervous when I first started teaching, I would teach whole sessions to the back of that wall, okay? And then only just realised there were students in front of me at the end of the process. So this is a tactic to avoid nerves, essentially.
I know this one.
Okay. So that was point one. Point two, and I'm being really harsh on this indeed, he did mention lots of different theories there and lots of different strategic models, but he was quite reliant on Chaffee and Ellis-Chadwick. Okay, I think that came up 5 or 6 times during the whole presentation. Now, Chaffee and Ellis-Chadwick is your primary textbook for this module, so I'm completely fine with you mentioning them more than other sources. He did combine them at times. Did you notice he did the Chaffee and Ellis-Chadwick and Tooten later on? That was really nice, okay? Drawing together 2 bits of strategic information towards one particular end. That was great. But yeah, it would have been nicer to have a broader range of source info used there. He did meet the minimum criteria, okay? So he didn't mention enough sources there, but he was very heavily weighted towards one particular source, okay? Anything else this speaker did well that we'd like to bring up?
I think when we focus on the citations and the presentation, it's a little weird, this presentation, because you always need to focus on these citations.
Yes.
And sometimes it's boring, no?
It's
not sound natural.
No.
Because you need to always pull the citation.
Yeah.
I know, it's mandatory.
Or an academic environment.
No, I know, but
we do need that.
we need to find another form to make more flow, yeah.
We've given it a lot of thought, and this is really the best way that we can advise, essentially. So I think we just have to take this as being the element of the assessment that is least like real life, essentially. But I do take your point, absolutely. Anything else the speaker did well?
I think he was reading a lot more than the previous.
He's checking his notes.
He glanced.
But yes, he's not looking down, he's looking off here.
In the beginning of the presentation, he started the whole thing on the note.
Yeah, he did manage to wean himself off it. But yeah, I do take your point, and if you start in that way, you will continue it that way, for the most part, okay? Obviously, this person managed to untangle themselves from it. So yeah, do try and make a more outward start, a less notes-reliant start. I really like the objectives in the mix here. This really helped to focus what he was saying. Okay.
Yeah, although they weren't really smart.
They weren't fully smart, they were most of the way there, I would say. One other thing that I think this student did really well was that they selected things like statistics that were relevant to a lot of different situations, okay? So you noticed he was talking about, what was it, bounce rate there, and he had figured out what the average bounce rate was for a website in the UK, and so he could apply that really clearly to this particular situation. The situational analysis was very tied into the industry that was being discussed here. So unlike that previous speaker, we completely knew what industry this person was talking about throughout the delivery.
Yoga something.
Yoga, exactly. It was a yoga franchise last trimester we asked for. So yeah, they're the main do's and don'ts from this particular example. Any other points we want to raise here?
I thought that reading using the body language would be able to
Yes. Interestingly, I think perhaps conforming to stereotype, some Italian students are the most expressive during their presentations, and I think we've got some Italian students there. They're also often the most suited and booted, the most turned out, yeah, indeed. So yeah, that may be slightly cultural, that may be to do with nerves on the spot. I know there are some other situations going on here. Right, so one final example for you. This next example, design and UX type angle potentially, or you could bring in CRM and how these things are controlled on the back end as well, things like that too. These are all valid things that we could introduce more specifically in relation to web development.
Ben, sorry for my question. I did a lot of questions.
I'm here for questions.
In terms of the web development, we need to give a lot of details about, for example, in the website, we like to do something like that, or it's more general.
I would like to hear about
because we don't have time.
Like, design criteria. I'd like to hear about maybe the Z-shaped pattern, for example.
Yes.
Maybe Google's guidelines for content creation. Maybe the web qual framework would be very important there. Tools that we could use to administer all of this. Yeah. So we talked about WordPress. We talked about Yoast before and how
Wix,
to use
I
that
want to use
optimize going on. If you like, that's absolutely fine as long as you justify it.
The Google's guideline on the content creation wouldn't need to go on the SEO part more?
It's more readily applicable to SEO and to content marketing.
Yes, I know,
but ultimately, the things that you're putting on that website should follow those guides for content creation. I would say absolutely the web qual framework is more important than Google's guidelines for content creation for web development specifically.
As long as somebody touches it, I mean, is it a framework? There is no...
The web qual framework.
Because we are limited by time.
Yes.
You know, if the SEO is going to mention that, I don't know, a blog should have 300 words, keywords, meta tag, headings, blah, blah, everything from an SEO point of view.
Yes.
For ranking and everything. He doesn't have to mention that. He has to mention the web, the buttons, F-shaped mobile responsiveness, app, and so on. So.
Indeed. And this is that marking criteria, the 20% that recognises how well your team all fits together into one kind of cohesive unit. And as you say, if one person's covered something in detail and then the next person goes and covers the same thing in detail, I'll just think, well, these students haven't prepared together. They don't know what each other's saying. So instead, as you say, you can kind of portion these things out, and loads of things within digital marketing kind of, form a bit of a Venn diagram and overlap with each other in some way. So yeah, the more coordinated you are in terms of, I'll cover this, you cover that, and we'll make sure we cover more distance overall through that process.
I do agree that the SEO especially lives on the website as well, has to have access to everything for.
But then SEO also transcends into social media, email marketing, everything else besides. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have another question. Sorry.
Because 1 second, please.
I'll take points from both of you, don't you worry.
What's your understanding this digital marketing compared to the early days, before 90s, from 92, for that to understand?
Yeah.
Here, we have to talk about the tools. The tools about like website development.
The TOWs? TOWs analysis?
Tools.
Tools analysis? Instead of SWOT, TOWs.
Yeah, tools.
Oh yeah, TOWs.
Tools, yes.
In terms of this assessment, we wouldn't expect you to go through all the details of it, but if you could give us kind of the end result of it, that'd be great.
No,
We'd be really happy with that.
If you're talking about tools, and then like you have to be specific, or you say like, for example, Google Analysis, page view, or groceries and all that, or have to be like specifically Google Analysis, blah, 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 blah.
You could say something like, based on the TOWs analysis conducted for this particular client, we would recommend that our SO attacking strategy involves X, Y, and Z elements in order to leverage our strengths in relation to the opportunities the market presents. Something like that. Yeah. So
you don't need to do it.
My point is, if you are going to use a model like that, focus on the outcomes of that model rather than going through the detail of that model. So just pick out maybe 1 or 2 points that you think are critical from that, and how's that going to inform your strategy, essentially.
Ben, the last one, please.
So I would say, in terms of TOWs analysis, you can think about that beforehand. It's within the range of things that would be useful to prepare for this assessment, but we absolutely don't want you sat there during the assessment and saying, Tails box number 1 says this, Tails box number 2 says that, and so on and so forth. Just give us the outcome from that and how we're going to use that, okay? But yes, Tails is a fantastic strategic tool. It's used very widely, even within industry spaces as well.
The last one.
No, go ahead. This is what we're
And in the web development, we need to explain something about SEO or no? Because another person talking about SEO.
If you are making a decision about your web development process that is reliant or dependent on SEO in some way.
Optimization for example.
Yeah, so for example, if you were talking about reducing use of JavaScript and CSS in order to reduce page load speed and therefore reduce bounce rate, that could be a way that these two areas start to come together, and that would be your justification for taking that decision. But yeah, ultimately, the longer discussion around SEO should be left with that other person, if that's how you're subdividing your
As I said earlier, because they match development and SEO.
I hate you.
They overlap, they don't quite match.
Because I'm right.
Because SEO also applies to all of your content marketing efforts, internal and external, to all your social media marketing efforts, your email marketing efforts. Well, yeah, as we talked about before, there are SEO standards that we need to think about in relation to PPC, how we create a landing page, what goes into an advert, things like that.
Because I'm doing the website development, that's why I'm saying is that they match, they
overlap. Overlap, yes, rather than match. So yes, absolutely. And as stated, I would say, if you're making a decision for web development based on an SEO standard, for example, reducing bounce rate or page load speed, something like that, you can hint at that is the reason why you've made that decision. That's fine, that's not overstepping the line. But in terms of going into depth about those SEO-related metrics and considerations, leave that up to the other person if you're subdividing it that way. But yes, I do take your point, these ideas do overlap with each other, very much.
No, he's gonna get
So, we've chosen this person because their performance was one of the lowest scoring of this particular batch, okay? Once again, this was not a failed contribution, okay? This student was not below 40 for this. So, there is plenty for us to learn from this, but ultimately this wasn't catastrophic in any way, let's say.
Anna, but it's a bad example, yeah?
Not the best example.
Yeah.
So, Christine, if you'd like to take away, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon. I will say I'm responsible for my present company. Today I want to present our franchise, your franchise. The name is 12, and so we offer our yoga franchise is not just a franchise, but it's a company that offers unique experience. This is because we offer different kinds of yoga. And we have the traditional, that is for beginners, or we have the standard, that is mostly for people that want really process from the restorative for plus adding instrumental sound. And also we have somatic for this different kinds of yoga. Firstly, we decided to focus the target audience. This is our audience is more based on like we have if people are interested in personal growth or like being professional that do want to release from stress. According to our marketing strategy, so we decided to use specific content and blog, email marketing to promote our content. And we also decide to use our company, the CRM, that makes sorry, for any
graphic time.
Oof.
The slide for communication, that's what I would say. We want to focus
You're not missing much.
in our group to have more.
Could you think of any particular content examples that you might want to post, maybe on our blog or email?
Yeah, we eventually, according to Teamwork 2022, we posted that with the email, newsletter that including
precisely, but she gets use of source.
the revenge for the prior, and this one includes promotion, something like meals for the client. Plus, we use also use blog to promote our original and unique yoga activity. Yeah, and also part of blog, so we decide to use Instagram, more Instagram because our target is for people that want people in older age. Especially because we use a lot of TikTok, but TikTok just for the unrated of TikTok but after, because we decide to promote more in our product in that Instagram, so we can create blog, we can create video or for this live session and also so also YouTube, we use to.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Go ahead.
That person, how many times you saw her in class? If she showed you like her work, how many times? I mean, you saw her working properly?
I know what you're hinting towards, and we'll talk about that
Because I
in
want
a
to see
second.
if it's about the emotional things, what was she actually missed some things there? Or is
Uh,
about because she didn't know properly what the poetry? I don't know.
I had students attend for this assessment who had attended much less regularly, certainly. I'd say this student was probably present for about half their classes.
Because that's why this can happen even because you are actually too much emotional, but she actually know a lot of behind, like.
My argument in this case is what you just saw there was a lack of preparation, essentially. Okay, none of that information had been embedded in any way. Okay, this is what I mean about a depth of knowledge that you need to have. If she understood these concepts, she wouldn't need those notes. Okay, she wouldn't be fussing around on the desk trying to find things and stuff like that. She would just be able to talk about it, even if it wasn't all sort of 100% work, let's say. So yeah, I think what we saw here was largely lack of preparation. But let's be a bit more specific about some of the things that this student might want to work on. So obviously we can say presentation technique, nerves got ahead of this particular student. It happens, okay? What I would say is try to avoid this kind of snowballing feeling. I know it's really hard in the moment, okay? But I am not going to remember every single word that you say in the exact order that you say. If you have a little slip up, then you can take a deep breath and you can have a little think for a second or two, and then you can come back and try and make a more effective contribution there. Okay, that's really important indeed. Everyone slips up when they're presenting, okay? but it's how you recover from that that I think is the measure of the person in this particular case. If you're able to pick yourself up from that and to proceed from there, then it shows that your presentation technique is good, it shows that you've got depth of knowledge, it shows that you are thinking about the wider message that you're putting forward rather than getting each word out in a very specific order. Okay? When I'm preparing my lectures, I never sit and write a script from start to finish, okay? For a start, it'd be far too long. But other than that, you just rely on the fact that hopefully you know your subject and you're able to go in and talk about it for that amount of time. So, yeah, we didn't see that in this instance, and I think that points to a lack of preparation.
So, my question is like, it's not about accent. My question is like, is about English, speaking English. So, is it also, this is going to be a big problem for the people who doesn't have much knowledge of English.
No. So as a university, we're very conscious of this indeed. And in terms of things like presentation skills, I never mark down in relation to, say, English language ability. But there's another pot of presentation skills that sit outside of language ability.
So, like, if we try to do the assessment,
yes,
and have different words that is difficult to pronunciation.
Yeah.
Also, they mean something when writing, when you're speaking is different way to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Like, I don't know about me.
We know.
So, I'll give you my position in brief. My position in brief is, when you were inducted into the university, some of my colleagues in the admissions team said, yeah, this person absolutely has what they need to do this degree, and that's all I need, okay, as far as I'm concerned. So I won't mark down for anything that is just, you know, whether or not that person is a native English speaker or not. That's not what I'm looking for.
I only give my best to compare, so I want.
My advice would be slow down, okay? So I have my words and phrases that I stumble over. I was giving a presentation the other day talking about research that we've done recently, and we're very proud of this research, and it's quite detailed, it's quite original, things like this. But at the same time, if I'm rushing during a presentation, trying to say qualitative and quantitative, I can do it now, is quite a battle, okay? So every time those words come up, I slow right down. I say qualitative or quantitative, just so I know that I can pronounce it in a suitable way there. So yes, we don't mark down for that, but if you do have words or phrases that you're concerned by, slow right down. Give yourself time to process that. Because the temptation is, when we're presenting, is that we're saying one thing and our brain is 1 or 2 steps ahead, thinking about what we're going to say next. And then suddenly we can find a disconnect between the two things. So just slow right down. Be in the moment.
For me, more like say and finish. Like, seriously, I'm not like.
Well, that's one way to approach it, but slow down. Go on.
No, this is the same like the sex. It's quantitative or qualitative. The same. You know?
I couldn't possibly comment. Also here, there wasn't a huge amount of theory used. I believe we had 1 source used, maybe 2 maximum. Yeah. They weren't used in a particularly intelligent way. One really significant criticism of this was there was very little that was practically applied. There was a lot of SEO is kind of thing. Okay, well, fine, but how are we going to use it? Why does it matter in this case?
Wasn't it content?
Yes, whichever of the categories it was. It was very descriptive in terms of its approach. It was very general in terms of its approach. It wasn't, we are going to do X, Y, and Z for you for X, Y, and Z reason, okay, which is much more applicable.
But maybe I have the right question now. When I talking before about SEO and web development, I'm talking about search engine optimization.
Yeah. My answer remains the same.
Okay, cool. Yes.
They overlap, but SEO exists in so many spaces outside.
Like a tool inside.
Do you know what SEO is?
No, because you explained something different about SEO in your presentation.
Yes. We did have a student a few trimesters back in this class called Etsio, which made all our discussions around SEO very interesting indeed. Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, there is crossover, but there's a huge amount of difference there as well. And if you want my advice on how to differentiate, because obviously SEO
Exactly.
so much, for web development, you'll be talking about design-related elements, user experience-related elements, managing that website effectively, how often that website needs to be updated, the architecture, the sitemap, the wireframes, things like that.
For example, I have my control panel here on my website now. If you like to, we can check. And the SEO is different. I don't know. We have a lot of tools here.
So SEO is like the rules of the game, whereas web development is like one tactic that we're using on the pitch.
Yes.
So something like that. So SEO is so broad in terms of category that yeah, it covers web development, but much more.
As he said, what you can mention about SEO is the technical part.
For example,
right?
this is more, yes, this is more technical. For example, performance over time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Most significant change.
Yeah. You could talk to me about things like spoke marketing, recycling content,
issues,
yeah, absolutely.
warnings,
Absolutely.
recommendations.
All of these metrics, things like this.
broken links.
Yeah, backlinks, broken links, internal linking, all of this could be covered. You could talk about, how could you, I know content marketing is a different category, but how you could use content marketing to generate backlinks from other locations.
Index functionality.
Yes, yes, yes. I leave you with the technical.
It's too technical.
Exactly.
Yes, I like to explain something.
Index.
Fantastic. Yes. Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
And metrics, PPC, click.
Support for YouTube. We use.
That's all right. Finish your sentence. Right, we're going to go for a follow-up question here. Now, I was thinking about asking you about CRM, as we've already sort of touched on CRM a little bit. I think we'll just go to our other topic option, which is obviously data protection. But we'll take a slightly different viewpoint on that. Okay?
For the client, that makes
2, 1. Right, okay, wonderful. So, I would like us to hear from our second speaker at this point. So just bear with me 1 second. Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we can, it's only small detail.
EU and UK clients as a business, could you please inform me how I would ensure compliance?
Compliance.
What's the question?
Resonate.
It was another GDPR.
Another important.
I think it's about GDPR in relation to email marketing.
If the keyword should highlight our unique aspects. For example, in trauma recovery, especially for the choice to the customer to select both.
Just to explain what's happening here really briefly, this was because speaker 2, the person on the left, couldn't answer the question, so this person is now answering the question.
Okay, I was gonna ask, can we take over?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Just be mindful, you don't want to jump in and take the other person's
So
opportunity.
they have 2 minutes, right, to answer?
You have 2 minutes to answer, so just see if the other person, if they're obviously struggling,
If
you're more
you,
than
I
welcome
don't know,
to
leave them around
Are
40
you still gonna get a
seconds or so.
question though?
give them a second
Yeah.
or two.
You're
Sorry?
still gonna get additional question for yourself if you answer
Somebody else.
You would still get asked a question for your contribution as well. So you would have the opportunity in that case to answer effectively 2 questions.
You get better
What is
grades?
the out of time?
We do it separately. It'd be based on each contribution. So
It's 2 minutes for
this person spoke first and answered their question. Then this person spoke, got asked a question, couldn't answer it, so this person's now jumped in to answer that person's question.
Ah. It's one question for each.
Do you get better grades if you answer the questions?
If you were able to answer a question that someone else was struggling with, then that will be recognised in terms of marks. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah, because it shows.
No.
But again,
No.
we are not jumping into someone else's opportunity.
In the same topic.
Okay? Because if you do that, if you're just like, I'll go, that would be negative in terms of marks. That doesn't demonstrate teamwork.
Data on. It could be 1,000 different web and analytics. Hopefully, central and
it would be nicer if the lecturer can clearly see that if she cannot answer, can anybody else make a contribution?
This is what I usually do.
Yeah,
So I'll give them a few seconds. I'll just say, is there anything else that you want to add? And if they say no, that's when I'll kind of stare at everyone else and say, does anyone else want to contribute?
When you ask me, anyway, when you ask a question, or you ask me, if I don't understand, you ask you to be polite, to give the question in the right way to be understood? Could be possible, or?
You could. I would. These questions, I know because you haven't seen them, there's something that you're thinking about at the minute. But I promise you, these questions are not any more complex than anything we've talked about over the duration of the trimester. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how simply these questions are worded, in essence. Now, for my money, what I do to try and give you every opportunity I can is I read through the question at a ridiculously slow speed and try to pronounce it as clearly as possible. Then I have a big deep breath for 3 or 4 seconds. Then I read out the question again to you, very, very slowly indeed. And then I start my timer and go into it. So effectively, that gives you about 10, 15 seconds of thinking time to start to compose your answer.
Big believer is wonderful work that has been doing data preferences as well. And it ends with data protection mode. We'll be also using heat mapping as well as growth in class sign-ups and create a more personalized experience. And this is only strictly data.
So, follow-up question for users. Well, now, obviously we spoke about GDPR quite a lot, so we've just been discussing a little bit about CRM. So I'd just like to delve a little bit deeper into that particular space. And just to ask, could you please explain to me how might our use of a CRM system improve loyalty and retention, and what specifically could we do with it?
So that was, how could we use CRM systems to increase loyalty and retention? What specifically could we do? That was the question.
How?
So again, all about practical application.
That was a few weeks ago we covered. Loyalty and retention.
Let me just remind, I believe it was the week before last off the top of my head.
Yes, I remember something, Roger something to me.
Oh no, it was last week. Last week. CRM was the second session, loyalty and retention was the first session last week.
I remember something. I even wrote about it on the coursework, about loyalty.
Sorry, we're gonna maybe
it was about how can we use CRM to improve loyalty and retention? What specifically could we do? Right, okay everyone, so those are some examples.
I remember is the after, like the race is the last one, how to retain customers, gonna be through feedbacks, reviews, surveys. Is that okay?
I think that would be absolutely fantastic because as you rightly identified, the race framework, the E, the engagement element, that takes place after the conversion. So that's about the post-purchase sales experience, which is then the thing that generates your loyalty and retention.
It's going to be the retention.
Yeah, but it's in relation to CRM.
So if you could bring race into that, that would be great.
CRM.
But still there'd be grounds to mention race there potentially. So we could use our CRM to work out what topics our customers are interested in terms of content marketing, and then as per the race model, continue to engage them over a time via a concerted blogging campaign based around the topics that they have expressed interest in as per our CRM.
So there are actually 2 questions in one.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of different ways that we can go with all of these things. We keep it as
One
broad
is
as possible.
CRM and the other one is loyalty and retention.
Well, the idea is that CRM is mainly for loyalty and retention. I do accept that it is for other things as well.
There you go.
But yes, in this case, we're thinking about it primarily in terms of that. Do you remember we talked about relational marketing rather than transactional marketing? That's essentially what we're talking about here. Go ahead.
Also, can I say that we after
personalize
it, and then we can personalize it also. The emails and products are going to be sent to our loyal customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, personalization would be a really big point to mention
also
here.
to keep them engaged and they keep them loyal to us.
Indeed, and then building on that, you could talk about how you might adapt the website to be able to allow people to customize their own products, things like this. You could think about, for example, things like what Lego do on social media, where they say, what designs do you want to see? And when they get 10,000 votes, they go and make that item. All of these things will be relevant there as well. See you later. Thank you. Any other questions just before we break today? Okay, good stuff. So, we're not in any particular hurry this afternoon. I'm happy for you to return at 4 if you like, okay? At which point we'll have a little chat around e-commerce. Again, this is a really general sort of finisher-upper, let's say, in this particular case. And then we have a little bit of time for employability as well.